Adelaide Masters Series, we featured the Superbike. This week we turn our attention to the Supersport 600s. They may be 160 as opposed to 210 brake horsepower, but they're lighter, accelerate quicker, so around this tight Mondello National Circuit there's little difference in lap times. Names have been rolling into the Mondello paddock this week, and Jack Kennedy's Appleyard outfit is just as impressive as anyone's. Dubliner Jack is just back from Donington after getting a wildcard ride in the World Championship Supersport race.
Yeah, it was a great weekend. We learned a lot from it. We didn't get to finish the race, unfortunately, due to tyre problems, but a lot learned and a lot of information for when we're there later on in the championship with the British, so I'm looking forward to it.
Conditions are not good for the first 12-lap Supersport 600 race on Sunday morning. Jack Kennedy is expected as in pole position of the Yamaha, with Gary Jeffers from Cookstown alongside him on a similar bike. That is Johnny Buckley, also on an R6 Yamaha, and Richie Ryan from Carrigaline on a Triumph Daytona.
As Plum says, decidedly tricky conditions here at Mondello Park. Just look at the surface. The rain may be gone, but it's certainly very greasy out there, Jim.
Yeah, Jack Kennedy gets the benefit of all these experience and swoops into the lead on this one.
Yeah, it'll be hard to see him being beaten here, but there's a lot of talented riders behind him as well who really want to have a go here and knock him from his perch.
Yeah, a lot of guys here now with a point to prove, and at the front, it looks like it's Keith Farmer just takes the slide off to the ground, so Keith Farmer, the Dungannon man, down on the ground.
Probably not the first one we'll see off at this race. It does look very, very greasy out there. Incredibly, Jeffers has taken Kennedy with a good run through Adelaide Corner on the way down to Bridgestone, and he now leads.
That's a brave move from Gary Jeffers. Jack Kennedy, huge experience. Gary Jeffers, I think, is probably only second year racing, so a big, brave manoeuvre from Gary Jeffers there.
Great stuff for him in front of the television cameras here, but Kennedy very much the complete package. Doesn't need to fight early on. Very, very composed rider, and I'm sure he doesn't mind if somebody leads at the early laps.
No, and a great result there from Robbie Lanigan in third position. Robbie Lanigan from Santry on the green and black Yamaha R6, having a great run in third position.
Kennedy thinking about a look up the inside, but Jeffers good and late on the brakes, does get it turned in. Great stuff from Jeffers, but Kennedy threatening, looking already there in second place.
Kennedy's got the experience. He'll sit back and let the race come to him, but back at the front it's still Gary Jeffers, Jack Kennedy, and Robbie Lanigan. A fantastic third position again for Robbie Lanigan.
Jeffers and Lanigan going really well here. We would have expected Kennedy to disappear into the distance. He really is a complete package, as we said, and doing a lot of racing abroad as well this year, Jim.
Last weekend, Leo, he was in the Supersport World Championship at Donington, and just as we say that, Jeffers has a bit of a moment, and Jack Kennedy used the opportunity, just slips past.
Yeah, we saw last week on RPM how difficult it was for some of the big bikes to balance the power in dry conditions, but these guys have got twice the problem.
Yeah, Leo, the wet conditions are really tricky at Mondello. Slow turns make it really difficult to get traction coming out of them. Tyres play a huge part in this. A big mix of tyres, Dunlop, Bridgestone, Michelin, everyone involved in this class. And Jack Kennedy on the Appleyard Yamaha R6 is running on Pirellis. These are the tyres he used in the World Championship and in the British Championship. So Jack Kennedy, huge experience on this rubber.
Of course, tyre choice is important to set up here, Jim. So they're all running on wet weather tyres. Tell us about them.
They've got big chunks of rubber, Leo, that move around quite a lot. It generates a load of heat, dissipates the water, and brings the tyre temperature up really quickly. In the dry conditions, these tyres wouldn't last 2 laps, but in these tricky wet conditions, they can probably do 50 laps here, no problem.
The riders using those wet tyres now as much as they can, and Robbie Lanigan there in third place, just squeezing on the power, and in fact getting out of shape, and off he goes again at turn 2, and that's what we spoke about. It's just so tricky out there, even with wet weather tyres and wet weather setup.
Just as he's coming in, Leo, the back end breaks loose. He's too early on the gas, throws him over the top, bike lands on top of him, and he slides off unharmed. So that's one good thing about the wet conditions. You tend to slide off and not really get injured.
Yeah, he's straight back up on the speed, no problem. Kennedy's still way out in front. And how much of this is down to setup? I know we'd expect Kennedy to be up front, but surely they've got to change quite a lot of the bike. Traction control, tyres, what else can they change?
Soften the suspension makes a huge difference to get the tyre to dig into the tarmac. It really pushes it, forces the tyre down into the tarmac, generates a lot of heat, and the tyre pulls away. Jack has ridden this bike, but this is probably his third year to ride this same machine, so no one knows his bike or track better than Jack Kennedy.
Yeah, he really is a class act, and we've seen him before have a go at some of the bigger bikes on RPM, so he really is going well here. We expect him to do this. He was led early on by Jeffers, took his time, made that place on the way down to Bridgestone, and just beginning to ease away from the rest now.
Yeah, and it looks like Jordan Bonner's the man on the move here. Jordan right on the back of Gary Jeffers, both on the Yamahas. Jordan on the white bike with the pink stripe on his helmet. So Jordan, the man on the move here.
A good battle now developing, as you said, for second place. Jordan Bonner having come up well and closed in on Jeffers now, and that's the battle on track at the moment here at Mondello Park, as Jack Kennedy continues to ease away out front.
And it's Chris Thompson on the ground, Leo. The Triumph 6 out of 5-man fight for the dust at Dunlop turn.
Yeah, just a little bit late in the brakes in front then, getting away from there. No problem, but I don't think he's going to get back. He looks distraught with that. Here they come now again down into turn one. A lot of different lines being taken as they spread out across the track at the breaking point there. And in fact, Terry Bradley beginning to close in on this one.
And Jordan Bonner dives off, so cursing the commentator again. Poor Jordan Bonner dives on the ground. What a bad result for poor Jordan.
Really tricky conditions. They've just got to wait so long before they can feed the power in. And even some of these experienced riders now in trouble out there.
Jordan, front runner of the Cup last year, and obviously paid the price at the front of it this year.
Look, Kennedy just looks so composed. He's not getting the bike out of shape, the back end not moving around, but even so, he's increasing his gap every single lap as he pulls away from the pack. Bradley now closing on this battle for second place. Terry Bradley going very well in these conditions.
Yeah, Terry on the blue and yellow Yamaha R6, on the PB Racing Yamaha R6. We didn't recognise Terry earlier on because this is his wet bike, Leo. He's got a second machine just for the wet conditions.
Explain that to us. Why would you have two bikes?
The second bike would be, as a wet bike, would be set up in a really soft sort of suspension. The engine wouldn't be quite as aggressive, so it'd be slightly easier to ride. And he's proven that he's the class of the field on this one.
Andrew Courtney just being passed on the brakes by 32. Carl Phillips. Phillips now coming out of turn one. Back end gets away again. It's just treacherously slippy. It seems to be turn one and turn two, Jim, where all the action is happening.
I think, Leo, maybe the curse of the commentators is catching on to some of these guys too. Maybe we won't be so popular in the future.
So Phillips trying to get that bike back up and rejoin. Doesn't look like there was too much damage. Relatively low speed shunt that he should be able to get back on.
Yeah, but back at the front, Jack Kennedy easing out a huge lead. He's probably got 8 or 9 seconds to lead at this stage. This guy's a World Championship rider, and it shows. The other guys here are amateurs, mostly amateurs. Gary Jeffers, a well-prepared machine. Gary, not a lot of experience. Terry Bradley, huge amount of experience. Wouldn't quite have the budget that the Kennedy outfit would be running under.
Yeah, he's using that experience, Bradley, to just gradually haul in Gary Jeffers. Now, of course, you can't get excited, you can't wind on the power like we've seen them do in the dry. It's almost like walking on eggshells trying to go quick on a bike in these conditions.
Yeah, Terry's got a lot of experience. Terry spent a lot of time living in Spain and racing in Spain as well. So Terry Bradley from Santry, huge talent.
Big batch coming up to Dunlop now. It's Mark Conlon leading Farmer, Chris Elkin right in there too, and Thomas Maxwell at the back of that group. And in fact, Maxwell just gets on the power too early out of Dunlop corner. Back end gets away with. He looks like he's okay. He's up. I wonder, can he rejoin?
You should give him a bucket and spade, Leo, get him a play.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get back. Indeed, he does get back on. And in fact, the leader should be due round now because these guys were very much in the midfield. But rejoins, and here come the leaders now. He's looking down at the bike. This could be a little bit dangerous.
And one goes each side of him, Leo, so close stuff at the front of this field here.
Really is, yeah. And he just managed to get out of the way, but doing it all right, just trying to get offline and stay on these guys' way. Look at Bradley now on the brakes. Looks quite comfortable at this stage, beginning to get the bike to move around. First guy we've seen pushing quite hard in these conditions.
Yeah, Terry seems to be quite happy with the bike moving around. That probably stems back to his motocross days with the bike going sideways and backways. And that's not to take away from Gary Jeffers. A great result from Gary Jeffers here on the Yamaha, the black and red Yamaha R6. Gary Brighton, really composed, not putting the foot wrong here.
Yeah, two very different riding styles there. Jeffers looking very smooth and composed. Behind him, Bradley pushing very hard, really wants that second place. And as you said, beginning to get the bike to move around, just getting a feeling for it as they come up to mid-race. Any chance these wet tyres might go off, do you think, towards the end?
No, Leo, you really need a dry line around here. The race is not long enough. There's no dry line forming. There's still spray coming up from the back wheels of the bikes, so no chance of the tyre going off at all.
They're equally matched considering how different the riding styles are, and again, so smooth that time. Jefferson gets a little bit of a better run, increases his lead out of Dunlop, and that should help him down the back straight. If they see the last lap flag now.
Yeah, I'd say Terry's looking over the pit wall at his brother, shaking his fist at him to hurry up, so Terry under huge pressure from the PB Racing outfit, and a fantastic result in third position.
Yeah, he'll be giving them a good repayment with this one, and again he's getting the back end to move around, but I think Jeffers' smoother style perhaps paying dividends a little bit better in this one. Certainly in the closing stage now, Jeffers, who doesn't look like he's trying as hard, is beginning to inch away.
The back markers take the last lap flag, but here comes the winner, Jack Kennedy, with a impressive victory in this one.
Great stuff from Jack Kennedy, did it all early on and just inched away, really a class act. waiting for Gary Jeffers to come down and see if he can hang on for second place. He does from Bradley, Hoey and Sean Hurley.
And a really impressive result there from Sean Hurley, the first of the Bridgestone runners in 5th position.
A masterclass on the treacherously wet conditions from Jack Kennedy and the 3 riders who made the podium.
See, I love the wet, you know me, Jim. But just go out there and go on and see what happened during the race and let everyone make their own mistakes, and we took it home in 3rd place nice and safe.
We good enough start. It's just hard to push, you know, when the first time it happens. Getting a good rhythm and kept it upright is the main thing, and got a good result.
Delighted to get the win. It was tricky conditions out there, and staying on was the main part, but finding out where the slippy part was interesting, and delighted with the win, yeah.
I told you they were nimble. We're back after the break for our second Supersport 600 feature, so refuel and join us then.